The following is a local resident producer's program. The program content is the sole responsibility of the producer and does not necessarily reflect the views or policies of Oshkosh Media, the City of Oshkosh, or Time Warner Cable.
Hello, this is Edward Kastner for another edition of Making It Happen. To my left here, I have Brian Schaeffer. He's an Executive Director of Champions. Thanks for joining me, Brian.
Thank you, Ed.
So, Brian, what's been your visionary for this program? Why did you want to get this started?
The biggest thing was finding a more efficient way of doing things and a more economical way of doing things.
Okay.
Just getting people out into the community, community, and not just Fond du Lac. Fond du Lac County is a big area, and being able to provide activities for the whole Fond du Lac County, I think, is a huge issue that we need to try to solve. There are a lot of programs that offer things during the day, but when you get in behind the people who are done working and there's nothing really in the evening. So my vision was to create something that would be able to take us into Fond du Lac County, not just Fond du Lac City.
Now, I'm not a geographical person. I don't know how big Fond du Lac is because I'm not from Fond du Lac, but
Correct.
How big is Fond du Lac County?
Well, you're reaching into Waupun, and you can go into the Campbellsport and Eden areas, and then it's pretty big. You can get out to Ripon and Rosendale, I think, and then Waupun and Beaver Dam area. Even some of those kids would come down.
And then, of course, if anybody wants to join you, from outside Fond du Lac, I'm sure you're more than welcome.
Oh, for sure. It's not just Fond du Lac or Fond du Lac County. The door is open for everybody.
And I'm sure that you want to have. What's your main goal through this whole thing? Do you want to have people become more independent? Do you want to have them just have a social outing, or
it's everything. It's everything that able-bodied people can do in their community. The special needs community have to have that same avenue, the same options. Self-advocacy is definitely one of the big pushes that we'll do with People First. I'm sure you're familiar with that organization.
A little bit, not much, but a little bit.
We have a meeting coming up on the 18th in Stevens Point. I'm taking a group up there. There's things that are out there that are beneficial for everybody, and that's the goal. Happiness, getting everybody together, and then being able to stand up for themselves.
And then one key thing here that we didn't talk about yet: transportation is provided to some of the outside activities.
For sure. I had purchased a couple of vans. One is a 12-passenger with captain seats. It's really pretty cool. And then I also have what I would call a 5 and 2. It has the capacity for 2 wheelchairs and then 5 ambulatory walkers.
Okay.
So those were the first 2 things that I purchased.
And I don't know if we have this in the video yet, but in the graphics yet. But I wanted to talk about some of the activities you're going to be doing. I think you're going to be having a guys' night. Was it June 5th or 6th?
June 3rd. That's actually my launching event.
June 3rd is the guys' night.
Yep, guys' night out, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to a place called Fondy Sports Complex. And they offer a 2-hour program where it's all inclusive with putt-putt, highball, basketball courts. So we'll have 2 hours where we can just hang out and be guys. That'll be pretty cool.
And was that hard to reach out to them, or were they pretty receptive?
They were very receptive, very, very receptive. Everybody, I've been doing this for a little over 4 years now. And one of the biggest pushes that I enjoyed doing was creating new partnerships. So all you have to do is knock on the door, and people are more than willing to lend a hand.
Are you surprised by the generosity?
No, actually, I'm not. It was it's kind of heartwarming, you know, when you knock on the door and you tell them what you're all about and how they praise you and all of that kind of stuff. It's pretty neat how the community can come together to make such a wonderful atmosphere for the people that we love to serve.
So are you hoping to reach out to more local businesses? Like, let's see if they wanted to donate some money or something.
I don't know if I'm going to really be a more pusher towards money.
Yeah, because money's not the.
It's not the money should not be the determining factor of what happens in the community.
Or whether a person, like let's say, Brian, like let's say if a special needs person wanted to attend the activity, but they couldn't afford the $25 cost, because you know how we talked about money shouldn't be a thing.
Correct.
So.
Money is not an issue. There are sponsors and donors who will assist with those type of situations.
Okay.
But we're never going to hold money as the determining factor. There should never be. I had a friend once say to me in a meeting that they would never put a dollar sign over their loved one. You know, when those words were spoken, that kind of rang a bell. You know, the red light. The money shouldn't be the issue.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be the reason why you can or cannot participate.
But we all know sometimes money kind of rules the world, so it's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate.
And then so June 3rd you got guys' night. June 5th, what do you got going on?
June 3rd is guys' night, and then one of the newest partnerships that I created was with the Fond du Lac movie theater.
Okay. For movie night, right?
For movie night. And that is everybody that wants to join up. The cost is $10. And every Tuesday, the first Tuesday of every month, we will be at the Fond du Lac Theater. That was pretty cool because the owners of the facility, I think they're based out of Minnesota or whatnot, but they ended up calling me, and I'm like, well, who's calling me from Minnesota? And then they heard my story, and then they're like, we would love to make this happen. So the first Tuesday of every month will be movie night at the Fond du Lac.
Because how many people with special needs, you know, can afford to get out and see a movie, or maybe don't have the transportation to get out and see a movie?
That's very true, and we offer all three possibilities.
And then I was also reading that you have a healthy exercise club, walking club.
We do. What's really cool about our lakeside park is they have a walking trail around one of their pavilion areas, and they also installed exercise equipment.
Okay.
So there's no cost. There's no. All you have to do is be able to get there, and you can exercise for free for the most part. You know, and that's pretty cool that the Fond du Lac community was able to build such a place.
Now, are you gonna do like you know, because our faith is very important to us. So are you gonna do like any like taking people to church?
We are. We will.
Okay.
We will be starting that. We are in communications with 2 Lutheran churches right now.
Okay.
So that will be starting up. What we talked about before was the vision of expanding. I'm also talking to a church in Waupun right now, where we would actually possibly bring in what we call birthday bingo. And then from there, we could discuss possibly having a special needs church service as well.
Okay. Because I struggle with getting to church, because I think Cab wants to charge me $11 both ways just to go to church. So I've been really trying to struggle to get back with that. So
Right. Yes, we will be offering a church service.
And then, you know, this next question can be pretty hard to answer, but I mean, you know, and you might get a little emotional, but what would your parents think if they were both here?
Oh boy, I didn't know you were going to ask that one. You know, I get a lot of people that says how proud they would be of me.
I know I am.
And I am going to get a little teary-eyed. Unfortunately, you didn't get the chance to meet my parents, because we met in 17, I believe.
Yes.
We actually met each other in 16.
And it was kind of an unpeculiar way, wasn't it?
It was at Bocce Ball up in Appleton. Anyway,
Yes.
but my dad would always sit in his car, and he'd be watching us all interact and play together, and it was just amazing having him watch that. My mom unfortunately passed away in 1998 because of cancer. But
Brian, what were some of his comments to you?
You know, I mean, it was you found your calling, that type of thing. You're a better man. You found your groove, your niche, all of that kind of stuff. I've always had a love of sports, so The first door that opened up for me was Special Olympics Wisconsin, and I can't say enough good things about that organization and of all of the things that they do for the special needs community. They're just phenomenal. We have an amazing athletic director that oversees us, Jody LaPlante. Very nice to work with. And then, of course, the person that oversees our station is Mark Wolfgram. And he was the athletic director when I first came on board. So we've established an amazing relationship. And actually, on the 20th of May, I actually go up and I finished the orientation for the new agency called Champions of Fond du Lac, Agency 414.
Was it hard to get that established?
No, actually, all I had to do was just fill out an application, and there were a few emails or phone calls, and just full support from the Special Olympics Wisconsin, because Fond du Lac is big enough. Fond du Lac County is big enough, where they can have more than one agency, and it'll be a better option. Maybe that's the wrong wording, but it's more options available for the people that we love to serve.
And to backtrack here a little bit, what was for Champions? What is your mission statement?
I don't have it memorized, but it's going to be to make sure that we all have the same ability to, have church services and self-advocacies and the ability to socialize in public in like anybody else can.
Okay. And then for your organization, I know it's relatively new and stuff, but are you kind of still in the hiring process? Like, what are some positions that are available?
Well, as of right now, I will be a one-man show.
Okay.
But there will be needs for staffing levels at the events.
Okay.
And as the company grows, there's transportation needs. I'll always have a route, and I may need to hire another driver and maybe two drivers at some point. There's those type of things.
If somebody wants to become a driver or wants to volunteer, should they contact you?
They can. My phone number is 920-602-5063.
I think we have that. Do we have that graphic in the computer? Yeah, here we go.
That's exactly.
For more information.
And you'll see that that's my email address.
Okay.
But you'll see that I misspelled Fond du Lac.
Okay.
And I did that on purpose because my father would always spell Fond du Lac with only one D. So I did that on purpose, trying to, maybe keep his memory alive as well. So it's not a spelling error, but it is a spelling error. I just did that on purpose. So.
Yeah, that's okay. What kind of volunteer needs do you think you're gonna need?
Well, for the larger events, when we go off-site.
Like for Stevens Point, do you need anybody to help out because you might be taking a big crew?
Well, with Stevens Point, are you talking People First, or are you talking state?
People First.
People First. I do have some volunteers already signed up.
Okay.
And I have staff members who come along with their client.
Okay.
So those are also considered on for staffing levels.
How many spots? I don't know if you remember off the top of your head here. I'm putting you on the spot, but how many spots do you have left open for People First?
People First, I believe I would have 4 spots left, and that would be able to take one of the new vans.
And do you want to dive into People First a little bit? Because I don't know that much about it. People don't know that much about People First. Just a little bit more in depth,
People First is an organization out of Cindy Bentley's actually the creator of People First, and she's a Special Olympic athlete and a great woman.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a place where people come together with special needs and they can talk about real issues, transportation. They can talk about jobs. They can talk anything about self-advocacy that are relevant in their lives. And it's our responsibility to find the answers for those individuals.
Because if they're having an issue or concern, then if it affects the way they live,
yes, exactly.
Then they can bring it up. Whether if it's a caregiver issue,
certainly,
it might be a caregiver issue because caregivers are essential. It might be a transportation issue because transportation is hard.
It is. It is very hard.
It is very hard. And then or you might want to live independently and get out of your parents' home.
That's true. Those are
you,
all of the
you
things
might,
that we could discuss.
Yeah. Or it might be a state issue.
Yep.
So
that's exactly right. That's exactly what People First is.
So, let me see how many questions here. What were some of the costs? Because you just don't open up a company without say, hey, I'm gonna open up a company, but and you don't need to go into great detail. But I know, how what were some of the costs involved with starting your own company?
Creating a website cost a little bit of money. I bought
probably more than you thought, huh?
There is, because then you have to buy your own domain, your own email, and all of this kind of stuff. There were things I didn't know that were hidden fees and whatnot, but that's okay. Yeah, obviously, like I said, I had purchased the 2 vehicles for the transportation needs. Those were the 2 biggest obstacles that we were going to have. And by 2, I mean both vehicles. We need one for the wheelchair lift and one for the ambulatory walkers. But other than that, I didn't go nonprofit. So I don't have bylaws and I don't have a board of directors. I am the sole proprietor owner of the business.
Did you do that for that reason, or?
I'm not saying that I wouldn't change at some point.
Okay.
But the need to get...
you just don't want to have a whole lot of bureaucracy and...
No. It has nothing to do with that. But getting things rolling was my first priority.
Okay, getting it up and going.
Getting it going. I can always change back to a nonprofit, or not back to, but I can change to a nonprofit. Okay. But as of now, I'm an LLC. So that's just the way we're going to roll with it. And I just got my first sponsor donor check in the mail.
And for people that don't know what an LLC is, what is an LLC?
Limited liability corporation.
Is that pretty much for insurance purposes?
For insurance purposes. And then, of course, you had to put insurance on both vehicles, because now I am fully insured on both vehicles. That was pretty expensive to do that, because you're transporting other people and up to 11 people, 12 people in a vehicle at one time. So that got a little bit of... But everything was paid in full. Those are the expenses behind the scenes.
How does this personally, because when you start out a new business venture, you don't know how things are going to go. But how humbling is it to you that things are kind of falling right into place?
Even even 2 years ago, I was once told that if you build it, they will come. That type of thing.
Kind of like the Field of Dreams.
It's kind of like the Field of Dreams, and this is a dream for I don't ever think I ever saw myself as being a small business owner, but with going back into the Special Olympics, if you've never been to a Special Olympics activity or event, you're missing out. You need to go. You need to help out. The high fives, the emotion. I got goosebumps just thinking about how wonderful it is to see people succeed, and that was the best thing that I could have ever done. And that was my vision. Will I be more sports heavy? I don't know, because the Special Olympics Wisconsin also holds a unified program. When you
went to your first Special Olympics event, how did it make you feel personally?
I had some time in already before. I think I started with bowling.
Okay.
I think bowling or bocce. Bocce ball was my first event, and so we had like 8 teams. So there's 30 kids out there. And plus, we had a fun league too. So we were out. We had 6, 7, 8 courts going on at one time. That was just wonderful. And then when you go to a regional athletic place where you're bringing in other communities, and the head count just goes up, you can't get any better than that. Everybody's saying hello. Everybody's high-fiving you, hugging you. It's an amazing, amazing feeling.
I know from personal experience too, because I still get the jitters from it. Even though it's been 30 and a half years, it doesn't feel like that. It just feels like yesterday. It's just Special Olympics give you so much confidence.
It does.
If you don't have it already, because when I remember when I was 15 when I won that first gold medal, and
I got the honor of being your coach for a year.
Yeah, and
track and field, state games.
What kind of honor was that? Because to get up and see me walk to do 200 meters on an indoor track.
Yeah.
Even if you would have let me, I would have done the full
I know
track.
you would. I know you would.
So
Yeah, you certainly would have. Having met you, let's just say 3 years ago. I mean, having you in my life changed my life as well. How many days have you been walking now?
I believe it's 16:31 today, and I still haven't stopped. No
Right.
matter if I'm sick or if I'm not feeling well, I'm still gonna get up. I might be dizzy and might be ready to pass out, but I'm still gonna be.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
still
an
gonna-
inspiration
still
story
gonna
right
be,
there. That's an inspiration.
Still gonna be there, and I'm gonna be, and I want to walk independently someday. So
Right.
now, as far as we're gonna backtrack a little bit, but as far as recruitment for volunteers for your champions.
There's paperwork that needs to get done. I need to know names, addresses, emergency contact. There's a background check that needs to get done.
And because Special Olympics requires a lot of volunteers. How many? I'm sure you're not going to turn any volunteers away.
No. Special Olympics is different as well, though. There's a Class A
Yeah.
for anybody over 18, and then they have a Class B for those who are minors.
Yep.
And all of the behind-the-scenes work needs to get done before you can help.
Yeah.
And you can find all of that paperwork on their website, which is specialolympicswisconsin.org.
So, but like, if they want to volunteer, just reach out to you too.
Oh, sure. I can answer all of the questions that they may have. And if I don't have the answer, I will seek out the answer, and then I would get back to them.
What if, and here's a question I didn't put on the sheet because I always like to put people on the spot. What if they want to volunteer, but they're not quite comfortable, but they're anxious to volunteer? You know what I mean? Like maybe they haven't been exposed to the special needs community.
I always say just come to an activity and be a fly on the wall.
Okay.
Once you're involved, you're hooked.
Okay.
I just come and watch. You don't.
And I know you try to keep the cost at a low level, so the special needs community can afford it. But what are some of the costs? I know it's like for people first. I think it's like $25, right?
And that also includes lunch.
Yep.
And that includes getting us there and back.
Yep. So that's pretty reasonable. Like for guys' night, for movie night, like how much like.
The movie nights are $10 at the theater.
Yeah, and then extra money if you want snacks.
And
or
extra
whatever.
money, you need to bring extra money if you want a snack.
I remember when movies used to be $5,
Right.
$5 or whatever, but now they've raised prices. But let me see what else on here. Here's a good question I thought of, but like so you're not gonna are you gonna apply for any government grants or anything? Because
I haven't even really looked.
There's a lot of grants out there, Brian.
There are. I haven't even started looking yet. Those are things that'll happen along the way. I just felt the need to get activities that weren't a financial burden out into the community, as soon as possible. And I think that's the way that we'll go. I mean, sure, I'll investigate all of those options. But things are going good.
Another thing I could see, that question I brought up, it's on a sheet, but residential housing. I could see that in the future, because
I would run a home.
Because people could know. It could be part of the program.
Oh, sure.
For people to live independently,
Yep.
but with staff, and stuff, or it could be part of the, or it could just be like, it could be a model home where people could live independently, and you could teach them things, or maybe have a class on it.
Sure,
So,
for sure. I do have someone who runs a respite home now. So I do have answers and questions if you're looking for the respite needs or for residential stay as of now.
Yeah.
I do have some good contacts that I would be willing to share.
Okay.
In the Fond du Lac community.
Okay. And for Special Olympics now, but we're gonna backtrack here. What sports do you plan to offer?
I don't know if I finished the part of the unified.
Okay.
They offer a lot of unified things that gets able-bodied along with special needs people involved in the activity. I think I'm going to try pushing more on that. They have basketball, they have bowling, they have bocce ball. There's swimming and track and field events, relays. I think that's going to be a bigger push. Then I'm going to try to see what happens.
Yeah. In fact, I don't know if Brian knew this, but I'm a part of the member of the State Athlete Input Council, and we just had a meeting we had a conference call on Tuesday night with Jeannie, and we just had talked about maybe working with the YAC and
Yep.
with the Youth Activation Committee, and we had talked about working together to create more champion unified schools, because some of my athletes from Oshkosh came up to me and said, well, why can't we do a unified relay? And so I need to get into the schools, or because I'm a trained in global messenger. So I was talking to Jeannie about me getting into the schools and talking, because the only way you're going to reach out to the school district is if you have one big assembly, maybe at both schools.
Sure, that's exactly right.
It's the only way you're going to do it, and you got to have the YAC people there. At least one of the YAC people there, maybe even another Special Olympic athlete.
Right.
Like, what would you think about that idea? Like, if we started something like that, Brian.
Yeah,
even if we started something like that in Fond du Lac.
Sure. We can certainly discuss those options as well.
So,
obviously, yeah, that was great ideas.
Like, now you said you wanted to grow unified.
Yep.
Are you talking about for every sport?
I will definitely offer whatever Special Olympics Wisconsin has to offer.
Okay.
I had an individual who wanted to golf, and if I have to spend time with one athlete, I'm going to spend that time with one athlete. And nobody's going to get left behind just because. I don't want to finish that sentence, but nobody's going to get left behind. That's where I'll leave it at. Champions will be there for everybody.
Because I want to do tennis this year, and I went out and found a tennis coach. So we're gonna be offering tennis, because my agency manager Hope said, well, you kind of gotta find your own coach. So, it's all about starting new avenues and new dreams.
It is.
But like, what would you within our remaining minutes here, the plan? I know this is a loaded question, but what's your plan for the next 3, 4, 5 years for champions?
Again, the biggest thing is I don't want to be just centralized on Fond du Lac.
Okay.
If there's a chapter in the Waupun area, great. Ripon, Rosendale, Campbellsport, Eden area. That's going to be something that I need to look into. It shouldn't be. The family shouldn't always have to just drive to Fond du Lac for something to do when Fond du Lac County is bigger, when we have other communities that are available to support the special needs community, and I think that'll happen.
And would you like to see this now? Because when one idea grows, another community says, oh, maybe we would like to start something like this. Would you like to see this grow?
Oh, for sure. I took the first step. I went into Green Valley Enterprises in Beaver Dam, and I had taken a tour, and I was able to express and share thoughts with a few people over there, and we're already behind. We're doing some of the behind-the-scenes work of getting things in Waupun area. So things are growing.
Within our last 30 seconds, do you have any message you want to say to the Fond du Lac community?
I just want to say thank you for your continued support. I love what I do, and I think that shows clearly through the work that I've done over the last couple of years. I appreciate everything, and I look forward to working with everybody in the future. Thank you. Thank you, Ed. Love you, man.
Thank you. Again, this is Edward Katzman for Making It Happen.